And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk. We're here on Monday nights where we talk all things Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Have an exciting show for you tonight, which includes guests from women's soccer, football, and men's soccer. But first, before we get started, would like to thank our sponsors of Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Really happy to have this group of sponsors on board. Arby's, Brevard Orthopedics, BSN Sports, eGolf Ford of Brevard, Hampton Inn, Ingles, Jets Pizza, Triangle Stop, and Young Transportation. Appreciate those sponsors of Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Well, catch you up since we saw you last. First cycling was at the SECCC Conference Championships in Banner Elk, North Carolina. A big weekend for the Tornadoes. Individual Omnium Championships for Tyler Clark and Matthew Zuniga. Race wins by Clark, Tyler Orschel, Dylan Richardson, Zuniga, and Cameron Mader. Next up, the National Championships for the mountain bikes, October 14th through 17th in Durango, Colorado. Volleyball, after a defeat to Maryville at a tri-match in LaGrange, they defeated the host LaGrange 3-1 this past weekend. A big day for Caitlin Presley, 20 kills and 19 assists in that win. Next up for volleyball versus Agnes Scott on Wednesday. That's 7 p.m. at the Bosch. Next up after that would be another tri-match as the Tornadoes will continue conference play this weekend on the road. Men's and women's tennis, next up for them, matches versus Mars Hill and also Pfeiffer. That's 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Sunday at the McCoy Tennis Complex. Hope to see you out there on Sunday. Football, a 27-7 win over Greensboro. Big day in the running attack in particular, 309 yards rushing and 390 yards of total offense. Mitchell Yoder with a big day there. And the Tornadoes will next take on Maryville homecoming this coming Saturday at 2 p.m. at Lamel Family Field. And also some breaking news late this afternoon, Brevard College senior place kicker Stamati Damalos, who was a guest here on Tornado Talk just 2 weeks ago, he was honored with a USA South Conference Special Teams Player of the Week award. So congratulations to Stamati. We'll be talking to his special teams teammates a little later, as well as his coaches later in the show. Cross country heads to Charlotte this weekend to compete in the Royals XC Challenge. That's on Friday evening. Men's soccer, a 1-0 win at Pfeiffer on a goal by Sam O'Callaghan. O'Callaghan will be a guest on the show later this evening. And then a 0-0 tie in a much-anticipated matchup versus Covenant. This thing lasted 110 minutes. Neither team could find the back of the net. A rematch of last year's USA South Conference West Division Championship. Tornadoes are now 5-1-3 in men's soccer, 8-match unbeaten streak. Next up at Piedmont, 6 p.m. tomorrow, and then Saturday at Berea. Next home match versus Warren Wilson on October 13th at 7:30 p.m. Women's soccer, a 1-0 win versus Piedmont last week on a goal by Ashley Royster early in that match, and then Tornadoes were able to shut down Piedmont for the final 86 minutes, and then a 2-0 win over the weekend over Wesleyan. And next up for the Tornadoes women's soccer team, home versus Warren Wilson, 7 p.m. this Thursday at Lamel Family Field, and then on the road at Covenant on Saturday. And with that, we're pleased to bring in, once again, the head coach of the women's soccer program here at Brevard College, Coach Juan Mascaro. Coach Mascaro, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having us, Phil. I appreciate it.
Well, Coach, it's been an exciting start to USA South Conference play and certainly riding a nice 3-game win streak at the moment. 2-1 win at LaGrange in double overtime, and then 1-0 over Piedmont, and then this past weekend 2-0 over Wesleyan. When I mention those scores, those results, what comes to mind?
Well, I'm glad that we're in tied for first place right now. It's always nice to start with 3 wins. We played Huntington as well on the first on that trip with LaGrange, and we lost 1-0. So we're 3-1 in the conference. It's always good to be, with 9 points up there and tied for first place. So we're happy with the results the way they're going right now.
We did not talk to you last week, but we talked to a couple of your student athletes, and that 2-1 win at LaGrange came in double overtime. It takes a lot of grit to break a tie and come up with a win in double OT on the road.
It does, and especially in the conditions. It was extremely hot. The field, it had rained a lot the prior day, so the field was a little wet. They have a grass field, so the conditions were not the best. But you know what? We played it through, and we generated enough firepower to be able to score 2 goals. Um, and we were up 1-0. They tied it up with about 5-6 minutes to go, and we were able to score the winning goal in overtime, and it was a great feeling. It was great for the kids to be able to come back home with a win.
And then this past Wednesday evening against a very tough Piedmont club, Tornado's able to get that 1-0 lead. Ashley Royster off the assist from Tay Brown, and then to just hold off Piedmont the remainder of that match and come away with the 1-0 victory.
Yeah, Phil, over my coaching career, I've had probably 3 games like that. And it's just one of those things that, you're glad that you're up 1-0. But when it happens in the first 3-4 minutes, there's a lot of time left on that clock. And but the kids, I mean, that's the best I've seen us play the whole year against a very good Piedmont team, very well coached Piedmont team. And we played extremely well, and we had a game plan for that game, and we stuck to it. And I think it was a fun game to watch as well. I've heard good comments. It was a fun game to watch. I think it was back and forth game. It wasn't just Piedmont coming at us or we going at them. It was a back and forth game. I think the shots were equal, or they were up by 1 shot or something like that. So it was a good game. One that we needed to win. They beat us last year in the semifinal of the conference, and it's always good, to get a win with against one of the teams in the conference.
And then this past Saturday, goals by Taylor Richardson and Tay Brown. The second goal coming off an assist by Emma Gooch. That game, it took a little while to find the back of the net, but eventually did with those 2 goals late.
It took a while. It took about 32 shots to score a goal. You and I were talking about this before the show, and we've been creating a lot of soccer. We've been creating a lot of attack. Looking at it, we have 93 shots in the last 4 games. I mean, that is a lot of shots. A lot of shots. You're talking about an average of 23 shots per game. We just got to get a little bit better at probably finishing early. I think, if you finish early, you have the opportunity for the teams to open up a little bit more. And once they open up, you can probably score a few more. But we had a game plan, and I think the kids did well at sticking to the game plan, and they kept going at it. And it's frustrating, when you're playing, against a team that has a lot of people defending. I mean, there was a point where they had 10 people at the top of the 18. So it's hard, it's hard to get through. But we kept going at it, and we came up with a result. So it was exciting as well.
And as a result of that, a 3-match winning streak heading into these upcoming games. Thursday, non-conference versus Warren Wilson, and then back to conference play at Covenant, and then home the following week versus Maryville and Agnes Scott. Really critical part of the season as you're positioning for conference postseason.
Yeah, it is. It is. Thursday is going to be a good match against an opponent close to home. And then the next 2 games, Covenant and Maryville, are going to be very difficult games. But in soccer, everything is possible. So we have to come up with a good game plan, execute it, and hopefully, if we can get a result or 2 of those 2 games, that'll be wonderful for us.
Coach, would like to talk a little big picture when it comes to the roster a bit too, because 2 of our guests coming up are newcomers for the Tornadoes women's soccer team, and all you've got to do is look at the box score and look at the roster, and you'll note just how many freshmen and newcomers are making a big impact this season. I'm sure you're pleased with the impact of those newcomers.
Absolutely. I think we have we have a great roster. We have a great group of kids, and what we have now is we have a lot more depth. We haven't had in the past the ability to be able to have a lot of depth, And in soccer, especially at this stage of the season, in the last 3 weeks, when you have a few injuries and then you're playing a lot of back-to-back games, it's difficult. So having the ability to be able to have depth and keep the same level of game, it's very satisfying. As a coach, we have a great group, and both the income class and the returns are doing a great job. Every player that we put in games, they try as hard as they can, and they go at it, and they're fighting for those results. And especially, I mean, you saw against Piedmont, we were able to sub enough that we were able to get through the 90 minutes, and keep the 1-0 result. And that's the way where as a coach you get a little nervous, is the last 15 minutes of the game where your legs are getting tired. So it's really how much depth you have on that bench to be able to help you manage the game.
Makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Very good, Coach. Well, we're going to bring in those two student athletes aforementioned, Channing Barker and Maddy Edwards, as we welcome them into the program. Bottom left, Maddy Edwards, and on the right there, Channing Barker. Coach, before we let you go, can you help us introduce these two outstanding student athletes?
Absolutely. Maddy, a phenomenal student athlete, phenomenal player from Virginia. And Channing, a transfer student from Catawba College, native of Tennessee, and she's been doing great, playing right back. Or last game we played her up top a little bit. So they've been doing great. We're very excited.
Very good, Coach. Well, we look forward to seeing the team back in action under the lights versus Warren Wilson, part of that homecoming week. So it should be a big time atmosphere on Thursday night, and can't wait to see your team back in action. Thanks for joining the program, Coach.
Thank you, Phil. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right, there he goes, Coach Juan Mascaro, and joined once again by Channing Barker, the sophomore from Tennessee, and also with us, Maddy Edwards, the freshman from the state of Virginia. Ladies, thanks for joining the program.
Thanks for having us.
Well, we're excited to have you and let NATO Nation get to know you a little better. But first, can we recap what's been going on recently? Love to hear from both of you as far as how the team's playing, how you guys are feeling. 3 straight wins. You got to feel like you're on a bit of a roll here and have some good momentum. Channing, what do you think the key to this recent success has been, and what do you guys have to keep on doing to continue it?
We finally broke our, not scoring streak with LaGrange. So that's given us a lot of confidence. And then winning against Piedmont, a really tough competitor, that's given us a lot of confidence to roll into these next few games that we're going to.
Maddy, comments as far as how these games have gone? And, they've been an exciting set of games here, but it's only going to get tougher from here.
Yeah, I agree with Channing. The tough competition and breaking our no goals in the games really has boosted our confidence, I think, and we're starting to definitely mesh as a team.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Anyone observing the BC women's soccer team can note that. Now, you two are both newcomers to the program, and you've really quickly gotten up to speed. A part of that has got to be the leaders who have come before you, and the seniors and the upperclassmen who kind of show you the way and mentor you a bit. I'd love to hear from both of you when I bring up that idea, as far as how it's a team effort, and of course the leadership of the older players. Channing?
Yeah, we have a great group of seniors, and we have our couple of 5th years, and they really help the newcomers to get acquainted, kind of like with school, with soccer, with everything. And anytime we're not working well as a team on or off the field, they really take initiative and they talk to us so we can understand what's coming on, and just to get closer as a team. So it's been really great to have that leadership with them.
And Maddy, same experience for you? It's made the transition easy in a lot of ways?
Yes, they definitely helped with the transition of college and making us feel welcomed. You instantly had so many friends and knew that you could go to them if you needed help.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, love to hear about each of your journeys. Channing out of Tennessee, and by way of Catawba College. Love to hear kind of your journey as a soccer player. When did you get started? When did you get serious? And then ultimately, how'd you find Brevard College?
So my story is a little bit different. I was kind of doing a little bit of everything as a kid, so I didn't really start getting serious about soccer until high school. And after my first year of college, I was looking for a new place to go. And Coach Juan called me, and I will never forget this. He called me and he told me, he asked me what my major was going to be, and I told him environmental studies. And he said, "Oh, you're going to love it. There's a creek running right through campus. Let's get you on campus. You're going to love it." And so he got me on campus the last couple of weeks of school. I met a couple of players, and a few weeks later, I was like, I think this might be a good fit for me. So it was really nice.
Awesome. We're thrilled you're able to make that connection and ultimately wind up here at Brevard College. And Maddy Edwards, the freshman out of Warrenton, Virginia, Kettle Run High School. Tell us about your journey as a soccer player.
Well, I kind of started off like Channing. I played a lot of different sports, and I started soccer at a really young age, but never got serious until about high school. And even then, I still played basketball through high school. But soccer always came back to be my favorite sport. And then I found Brevard through one of a good friends who played here. And I knew the mountains would be the place. And so when I started talking to Coach Juan and got me on campus, I just really fell in love with the campus.
Awesome. Great stuff. Love hearing those origin stories from you two. And, love to hear more of you about as a soccer player itself. What do you consider your strengths? Channing, you're part of that defense that has been so stout for the Tornadoes all season long, holding the opposition to all sorts of low goal totals and shutouts. Have you always played defense? And, tell us about that mentality as a defender.
Yes, for the most part, I've always played outside back, either side. And, we definitely could not do it as a defense without, just communicating like we do. But it's really great. I love how we play because it lets me be able to get up top and make some good plays up top. And like Coach said, he put me in as a forward last game. So that was really fun and exciting. But, I love getting to do my dual duty of playing defense and helping on the offense as an outside back.
And Maddy, you're in much more of an attacking role full time for the Tornadoes, playing up front quite a bit. Can you talk about yourself as a player, position wise, and your strengths?
Yeah, I've always played as a forward or a wing player. So getting up top and being on the offense is really where I'm most confident. And my biggest goal every time I get on the field is to always bring or intensify the energy on the field and to just always work hard. So, yes, I've always worked hard.
Channing, you touched on it briefly, but would love to hear more about your academic pursuits. Can you tell us, even further, what your goals are academically?
Yes. So I am an environmental studies major, and my concentration is environmental science. So, and then I also have a minor in sustainable agriculture. So I'm kind of just putting my hand in the cookie jar, feeling around, seeing what sticks. But, this is definitely the place where, as a person who, wants to work, with the environment, this is the perfect place for me. So it's kind of a no-brainer when I was looking at the academic side of the school. It was just a little hidden gem in the mountains. So.
Outstanding. Yeah, great stuff all the way around. Maddy, I know you're a freshman just getting started in your academic career, but have you narrowed things down a bit? And can you tell us what your interests are?
Yes. I plan to major in exercise science, and then after college, I want to become a strength and conditioning coach and work in a high school.
Very good. Well, before we let you go, I do want to touch just a little more on what it's like to be a member of the Brevard College women's soccer team. When I mention things like team culture, team bonding, what you guys are like, on these road trips and, through these practice days and nights. What comes to mind when I mention, what the team culture of Brevard College women's soccer? Channing?
I really think that this is just a good old-fashioned standard team. You have these group of girls that you're surrounded by, and you see them everywhere. Every time you see one, you're going to have a 5-minute conversation. It could be about nothing. We live with each other. It's honestly great. You go to the locker room and we're playing music, we're dancing, we're doing each other's hair. It's just so fun like that. And traveling together, especially when we had a little overnight trip a couple weekends ago, it was so much fun. And it really helps us come closer as a team off the field too.
Maddy, what else comes to mind?
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is family. We're very close, and we're definitely like a family. And every time you see someone in campus or you're getting ready for practice, they never fail to make you smile or laugh. It's just always fun to be around the team.
All right. Before we let you go, let's circle back to the playing field. We've got a match versus Warren Wilson this Thursday night, and then you're back on the road at Covenant in conference play. I'm sure coaches talked with you as far as just how critical this portion of the season is as you head towards the home stretch of the regular season. What's the key for the Tornadoes, these last few games? Channing?
I really think it's just for us to go out there and play our hardest and play with heart and finish strong. That's all you can ask for, is for us to go and play our hardest and leave it all out on the field.
Maddy?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Channing. The outcome of the games will depend on how much work ethic we have and how much we really want these games.
Very good. Well, before I let you go, do you want to give student athletes like yourself the chance for any shout outs or thank yous? Anyone that may have helped you along the way, someone who might be watching this program live or tuning in later, perhaps? The floor is yours, Channing.
Okay, well, I hope my mom and my dad are watching because I sent them the link. So gonna shout them out. And of course, all the coaches I've had through the years. I could not have been where I am without them. And also, our coaches here, Juan and Chelsea. It's been a really great experience so far.
Maddy, shout outs or thank yous?
Yeah, shout out to Juan and Chelsea for bringing me out here and adding me to this team. Shout out to the team for making me feel so welcome. Thanks to Mom and Dad if they're watching, for always getting me to where I need to be and supporting me. And also thank you to all my previous coaches who have believed in me and really trusted my ability.
Very good. Well, very nicely done on your debut here on Tornado Talk, and very nicely done on the soccer field as well. We can't wait to see you Thursday night versus Warren Wilson on Ives Lamel Family Fields turf. Thanks again, Channing Barker and Maddy Edwards from the BC women's soccer team. Good luck, ladies.
Thank you.
All right, there they go. And we're going to transition quickly to the gridiron, to the football field, as we're going to effort to bring in two of our coaches from the Brevard College football coaching staff. As joining the program now, assistant head coach and special teams coordinator Martin Bayless, and also assistant special teams coordinator and director of high school relations Jack Wellenhofer. Coach Bayless, thank you for joining the show.
I'm glad to be here, buddy. I missed you guys when we came to camp back in August, but I returned to campus to see some young guys ready to play football and add another banner to the fence out there at the stadium.
Very good. And also with us, assistant special teams coordinator Jack Wellenhofer. Coach Wellenhofer, thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Looking forward to it.
Well, Coach Bayless, do want to speak of this experience you had back in August. You touched on it very briefly there, and a lot of NATO Nation may have seen, the stories that were published about it. But you had this opportunity to be a Bill Walsh Diversity Fellowship recipient, which translated to weeks of work with the Jacksonville Jaguars coaching staff. So on an NFL coaching staff in real time, while also handling matters remotely here at Brevard College. Can you sum up that experience and just how meaningful it was?
Well, it was a great experience. It's an honor to be have an opportunity to go and work for an NFL club, work for some great coaches, and just learn more about the game. You're never too advanced where you can't learn from somebody else. And those trade secrets that you may learn from somebody else, a different way to, slice the apple. you try to bring that back and educate the people that you work with right now. So it was definitely a great experience working for Urban Meyer and his coaching staff. I mean, you're talking about a staff that has 3 NCAA Division I head coaches on that staff, along with some other veteran NFL coaches. Jacksonville's going to win. They're struggling right now. But at the same time, over time, when they start to get more talent in the nest, that team's going to look a lot different. But right now, they're building the foundation, and they're going to be very successful real soon here.
And Coach Wellenhofer, I mean, as an up-and-coming coach as yourself, getting started in your coaching career, to have a resource like Coach Martin Bayless, to lean on, to learn from. And then this time when he was down in Jacksonville, you were gaining valuable experience, handling the special teams unit up here in real time.
Yeah, it was definitely a really cool situation for me, not only just under normal circumstances, when Coach Bayless is here, but to kind of have the opportunity to do both, to where, okay, now I'm kind of in that learner seat, but then again, to be in that position to where you're kind of driving the bus, so to speak. I know that was really valuable for me. And again, kind of what you're hitting on. It's just a really, really cool learning experience. And I'm just really grateful that Coach Bayless, being the person he is and the coach he is, he really made that kind of an easy transition for me to kind of handle. So definitely cool.
Coach Bayless, the special teams have been certainly a strength so far this season for the Brevard College Tornadoes. We're going to have a few of your specialists on right after you guys in your interview. You have to be pleased with these early returns, but I'm sure there's plenty of work to do as well.
Well, one of the pet peeves of mine when I got here with Coach Kyatt was just to add to the culture that he created. And I think something that was really a big footprint for me is I talk about the word championship life. And the championship life has 2 components to it. The first component is developing people. So as a veteran coach on the staff, I have a very strong goal and responsibility is to develop our young staff, take them places that they may not have been before, show them things that they may not have seen before, and basically coach them up and keep supporting them, because they're going to continue to grow as coaches. And once they hit their stride, that's going to just help perpetuate what we're doing here as a championship football program. And the second part of championship life is just winning championships. I mean, that's the basics. So that's really my pet peeve here at Brevard. And then you go back and you take what we did back in the spring, where we had some success. We won the conference. Obviously, they say we tied with somebody. I don't even know the name of the team we tied with, but to me, we won the conference. As a result of winning the conference, what happened was we had a huge recruiting class where we had a lot of young men come on campus. They saw the program. Their parents saw the program. They saw that it's a program where winning is important, but also the off the field, the education piece that Coach Kyatt preaches about, and really developing the team continuity really gave us a leg up in recruiting, because that's the next step of winning is recruiting. And then you look at, I think we have 55 to 60 new recruits that are freshmen here on campus. So that's a very huge recruiting class, which leads me to my next point is the 3 gentlemen we're going to be talking about are all freshmen. Our specialist area, we had a guy graduate last year, and we had some veteran guys, but it was good to get, 3 new guys in the pipeline. They're all playing extremely well. Long snapper, Kyler Smith, our punter, Nick Acus, and then also our kicker, Hugo Taylor. So, I think Jack is one of the, guys that I need to credit for a lot of the recruiting for the special teams part of it, because he was the one that was going on the video, looking for kids, making phone calls, staying late hours, just grinding, man. And, here's the fruits of Coach Wellenhofer's hard work. And I mean, he landed 3 quality guys that's going to be kicking here at Brevard for the next 4 to 5 years. And, we're going to keep growing with our recruits. But, right now, that was a huge, huge, huge landing by Coach Wellenhofer with his access to bringing in quality guys.
Outstanding. And Coach Wellenhofer, the kickers get a lot of the headlines and the stats when it comes to special teams, but special teams are much more than just the kicking game, correct?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the thing I really enjoy about special teams in general too. It's just because, if you're coaching quarterbacks or receivers or whatever position it is, or offense or defense, you're really only dealing with that, side of the ball, that position. But with special teams, it's everybody. So, you have starters, you have guys who maybe don't play as many reps a game, offensive players, defensive players. So I think that's, just personally on a personal note, that's what I really enjoy about special teams. That's truly, truly kind of embodies that team spirit that is football. So it's a really cool aspect of the game. And again, I think Coach Bayless has done a really good job kind of instituting that culture and making it important here, because a lot of places it's not. So definitely appreciative of that, the fact that we do it right here.
Well said. Now, Coach Bayless, it's a critical juncture of the season for the Tornadoes as they march through USA South Conference play, a win at Greensboro this past weekend, a big homecoming matchup here at home versus Maryville. That's at 2 p.m. at Isla Family Field. Can you give us a glimpse behind the curtain as far as preparation this week for Maryville?
Well, Maryville's a good football team. As a coach, you look at the video, just like last week, I thought, Greensboro was a good football team. And, those are teams that you fear, because what you want to do is emphasize to our players that, number one, there's only one game in the season, and that's the game we're playing this weekend. Those other games that's on the schedule, they don't really exist in the real world, because you have to focus on the upcoming opponent, and you have to put all your undivided attention on how do we find a way to beat that team? How do we find a way to prepare ourselves during the week so that we're ready to go to battle on Saturday? So, we talk about that singular focus a lot, and making sure that we have a faceless opponent. It doesn't matter what color uniform shows up on the male field. It doesn't matter Division I, Division II, Division III. They can come on down that field, and if we're in our right frame of mind and we're focused, they're going to have a problem getting out of those gates. So, those are the things that we talk about. And, really it's just the basic things. Take one step at a time. We got to practice tomorrow. We got to, make sure that everybody's dialed into that practice. We talk about, okay, the practice is 2 hours on the field. You need to be at practice for 2 hours. You can't be on the sideline talking to your friends about what happened in class last week. You can't talk about what you're going to do on Friday night at that 2-hour practice, because, we only have 2 hours with the guys on the field. And then those guys are going back to their dorms and living their regular college life as student athletes. So it's important that they understand the focus. And like in the springtime, we got in that zone. I mean, we felt so good about ourselves because we were able to get in that zone. So we're still trying to get our way back in that zone. I think this weekend's game was kind of the first step. But if we can get back in that zone and take one game at a time, I think we're going to be very happy come end of November.
Very good. One last piece of news I want to make sure we share with NATO Nation while we have you two on the air with us. Stamati Damalos, the senior place kicker named USA South Conference Special Teams Player of the Week. That just came out a couple of hours ago. Coach Wellenhofer, I'm sure you're proud of Stamati and the work he's doing on the place kicking and field goals, extra points.
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest thing with kicking or punting or long snapping or, just football in general, but specifically as it kind of pertains to being a specialist like Stamati, just kind of having that mental fortitude to stay locked into the game, stay locked into practice, get my work done, get my reps in and stuff throughout the week. So it's definitely a product of what he's been doing on and off the field. So definitely happy for him. But we were talking about earlier, it did take good protection, a good snap, a good hold, and then obviously a good kick. So it's definitely reflective of what we've been doing as a unit on special teams. But needless to say, we're really happy for Stamati, and he's earned it.
Very good. Coach Bayless, anything to add there?
Stamati's been a work of art. Before I even came here, I heard where he was at in his development. And each year he's continued to get better. He's worked on it. He's gone home in the summertime, gotten better, went to camps, got instructions from some other, professional kickers. So, he's doing all the right things. And as you can see right now, he's blossoming because he's put the time in. And sometimes you don't see all the time that people put into trying to improve themselves, but he is definitely one of those guys that have gone the extra mile, and it's important to him. And just like him, there's a bunch of young guys that are going to see that, and they're going to wonder how he climbed from just an average guy to now being a very successful kicker. And so they're going to look at that, and he's a good role model for guys to look at and see how he's conducted himself. So it's great to have him on our team because he's going to help us win a lot of football games here down the road. And I'm happy that he's been honored because I know it means a lot to him and his family, and he deserves that type of recognition.
Very good. Coach Martin Bayless, assistant head coach, special teams coordinator, and also Coach Jack Wellenhofer, assistant special teams coordinator, director of high school relations. We're going to let you two gentlemen go. I know you guys are busy preparing for Maryville, and really appreciate you making some time for us, talking some special teams with us. And we look forward to talking to these student athletes following this. Thanks again, coaches.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, there they go. And we'll quickly transition and bring in 3 football student athletes, aforementioned special teams performers, as they make their way into Tornado Talk. Kyler Smith, also Hugo Taylor, and Nick Acus, 3 members of that special team unit. Kyler Smith in that upper right corner. We'll start with you, freshman long snapper from Clarksville, Tennessee. Kyler, thanks for joining the program.
Thank you for having me.
And also with us, Nick Acus. He's the freshman punter from Rock Hill, South Carolina, Northwestern High School. Nick, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and just in the nick of time, Hugo Taylor, the freshman kicker from Charleston, South Carolina. Hugo, thanks for joining the program.
Thank you for having me.
Well, excited to have you guys. And before we get started getting to know you all better, I'm sure you saw the news. Stamati Damalos, Special Teams Player of the Week for USA South Conference. Hugo, it's got to feel good to have one of your fellow special teams, amigos win that award.
Yes, sir. It feels great. At practice, seeing him just get better and better every day. And, it's finally paying off for him. And it's great to see that for someone.
And Kyler, long snapping's part of that whole equation when it comes to kicking field goals and kicking extra points. It's got to feel good to see your kicker win that award on behalf of all you guys.
Yes, sir. It just takes a lot of practice. Practicing the snap, the hold, the kick every day in practice. A lot of work.
Yeah, no doubt. And Nick, if you were to go to a Brevard College Tornadoes practice, you see just how hard the kickers are working. But you guys are kind of your own little culture, your own little thing at the same time. I'm sure you've gotten to know Stamati, and being a senior and you just getting started, I'm sure he's helped you out a bunch as well.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Yeah, for sure. He's always telling me to slow down, take mental reps, take notes, focus on one thing at a time. That way I'm not flustered when I go out in a game or during practice and stuff.
Yeah, also want to mention Damon Hewitt, Nick. He is certainly a lot of experience punting the football as well. Learned as well from Damon.
Yeah, he has taught me a good bit to just not be too scared to be relaxed when it comes to the game, because he has that college experience in the game, whereas I don't really. So being able to have these older guys help me with confidence and help me relax on the sidelines before games or when I'm not doing as good in practice really helps. And having them in my corner definitely is a good thing.
Hugo Taylor, you've been handling a bunch of the kickoffs, and a lot of those have been just flying through the back of the end zone for touchbacks. Can you give us a little, inside information as far as the science of kicking off, and what does it take to create those touchbacks?
Well, it is a difficult thing to do to get it that far, but what you're really trying to do is get your entire body through that ball and to shoot upwards through it in the right, hitting that as my coach said, a dime spot on the ball. So it is very hard to be accurate while hitting that through there to get that perfect end over end rotation that does make that ball fly down the field, as you said.
Yeah, no doubt, and it certainly helps the big picture of any given football game in terms of field position and putting that defense in a great position right off the bat. Well, would like NATO Nation to learn a little more about each of you. And Kyler, we'll start with you, freshman long snapper from Clarksville, Tennessee, Clarksville High School. Tell us about your football journey. When did you get started playing, and ultimately, how'd you find Brevard College?
I started playing football back in Pee Wee League. I was about 5 years old, and my dad was my coach for our team. And we played football in a small town, Erin, Tennessee. It's on the other side of Nashville. And then we moved to Clarksville my freshman year, and then I was posting my snapping film on Twitter, and then Coach Hoff ended up texting me saying that the coaches wanted him to check me out. And I came on a visit, and I just talked to the coaches, and it was a good spot for me.
Yeah, we're glad you ultimately found Brevard College. Nick Acus, the freshman punter from Rock Hill, South Carolina, Northwestern High School. Tell us about your journey.
So, yeah, like a lot of people say journeys aren't a straight path and stuff. And I picked up kicking in middle school as came into 7th grade. Their kicker just quit, so they were looking for someone. So I decided, I was like, let's try it out. I have a little soccer background. How hard can it be? Starting out, it was very hard. It was a whole different ball game just doing that. And then moving on to high school, I was a little bit more nervous because all the kids were a lot bigger than middle schoolers. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. It's a lot of time being used. So, and then I got the start on varsity my sophomore year. And then I had a little setback my junior year. And then my senior year, I didn't get to play much because my head coach didn't think I was the best. So I was just hoping that something in the spring would roll around. And Coach Hoff saw some videos on Twitter, and he took a shot on me. And I'm forever grateful for that, having this next opportunity at the collegiate level.
Outstanding. Hugo Taylor, freshman kicker from Charleston, South Carolina, Maiden High School. Love to hear about your journey as well.
Well, just like Nick, I did come back from soccer as my background, but I started my sophomore year of high school. I really, from the beginning, I was a pretty decent kicker, but as I grew up through the years, just through my senior year, I just began to pick up things, going to different coaches, different camps, just getting whole different perspectives on what kicking is, and got it down to a science. So now, but through my high school year, I didn't really get to play much. So from the film that I got, it's mostly from camps, and me posting that on Twitter, that's how Coach Hoff contacted me through. And I came here for a visit, and I liked how it was like a smaller town. It wasn't huge like these other D1 schools, but it's a nice place to live in. So I, in the end, chose it. I'm happy about it.
Very good. Well, before we had the three of you on, we had your special teams coaches, Coach Wellenhofer and also Coach Martin Bayless. And Coach Bayless just came from an experience in the NFL, working directly with the Jacksonville Jaguars during a fellowship experience, and was able to bring back all that knowledge immediately to you guys. But you look at his biography, it's unbelievable, the brand names: St. Louis Cardinals, Buffalo Bills, Chargers, Chiefs, Panthers, Raiders, Texans, Vikings, you name it, he's been there in professional football and also in the collegiate ranks. What's it like to have a coach like Coach Bayless with that much experience mentor you all? Hugo?
It's definitely something new, because in high school, I didn't even have a specialist coach. It was just our defensive coordinator that they chose to run special teams. So now that I actually have a coach and someone that knows what they're really talking about, that it's their job, it's really a big difference and a big game changer, basically.
Nick, anything to add to that as far as having Coach Bayless on the staff?
It's definitely a game changer having him on the staff. Having that knowledge from the professional level is definitely a lot nicer because he brings a lot of knowledge from that level down to the collegiate level. And even like anyone between Division I and Division III are very lucky to have this smart of a man when it comes to special teams and knowing what to do and helping everyone out. It's been great to have him here.
Kyler?
Yeah, I feel like having him around is like because he has a lot of knowledge football, and just like Hugo said, when I was in high school, we didn't have a specialist coach. They just picked the linebackers coach to be the special teams coordinator, and they'd put the specialists on the game field for the whole practice, and we just snap up there on the game field by ourselves. And I get here, and we got Coach Hoff, and he snapped D1 at Charlotte. So if I'm ever having a bad day, I just go to him, and he can teach me what to fix. So.
Yeah, no doubt. Very valuable resource. Well, gentlemen, I know we've got to get you guys on the move quickly here as preparations continue for Maryville this weekend, but do want to get you each the opportunity for any shout outs or thank yous, anyone who may have helped you along the way. Hugo, shout outs or thank yous?
I'd like to shout out just my parents. I mean, they've been a huge help through all of it. Like my lowest lows, like when I hurt my hip flexor or something, they've been there. They've been people just that stand by me whenever I'm doing poorly, good, or anything in between. They're just always there for me, which I'm grateful for.
Nick, same opportunity for you.
Yeah, just a shout out to my mom for always being in my corner, helping me, supporting me even when I didn't play much my senior year, going to these games, coming up here to Brevard to watch me. And probably definitely the biggest shout out to my form coach, Dan Orner. He has built me from the ground up, coming from a soccer background. Changing it to a football swing from soccer kicking is just a different thing, and I can never thank him enough. So yeah, that's it.
Very good. Kyler Smith, shout outs or thank yous?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out and thank my parents. They've been with me for the entire journey of the college and looking to see where I wanted to go, and they've just been by my side the entire time. I also want to thank one of my specialist coach, our Coach Montgomery. He's the one that taught me everything I know about long snapping and really built me to be who I am.
All right, gentlemen. Well, great job tonight on Tornado Talk. Appreciate you guys making some time. Good luck this weekend versus Maryville. We'll be out there 2 p.m. at Eyes Lamel Family Field, big homecoming matchup. Nick Acus, Kyler Smith, Hugo Taylor. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
All right, there they go. Special teams, student athletes from that Brevard College football program, and we will have the Tornadoes in action this weekend versus Maryville. And glad to be joined now. Back to the soccer field we go, and switching gears to the men's soccer side of things. Joined once again by Coach L. Dana and Coach Juan Mascaro Jr. Coach Dana, thanks for joining the show.
Hey, Phil, how are you?
Doing excellent, thank you. And Coach Mascaro Jr., great to have you back.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Well, would love to recap for NATO Nation an exciting week of men's soccer, and want to go all the way back to a game on the road in the middle of last week at Pfeiffer. This was a hard-fought win for the Tornadoes. We were, witnessing women's soccer action here at Eyes Lamel Family Field, but meanwhile, you guys were in a dogfight versus Pfeiffer in a 1-0 win. Coach Dana, when I bring up that Pfeiffer match, what comes to mind?
We played well, and Pfeiffer is a good team, and I expect them to do well on their side. I always say this, when you go on the road, everything is an adjustment, everything is different, the pitch is different, the settings are different, lighting is different. I mean, whatever you're used to, now it's out of your comfort zone. But we play well and manage the storms. You gotta manage the game. You're gonna have times you're gonna defend more. You're gonna have times you're gonna be able to take it to them. But I still do that. We were scoring more, but we are creating a lot, and that's a good place to be too.
Yeah, and Coach Mascaro Jr., you have to be pleased with the goalkeeping and the defensive effort there. Another shutout for the Tornadoes, the 1-0 win at Pfeiffer.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with the performance from Thiago during that game. Yeah, definitely. Kept us in the game. I mean, he definitely changed the game with some of the saves that he made. So, yeah, just a solid performance from him at the midweek, which is hard, because he's traveling, doing classes before the game and whatnot. So, really good concentration and focus from him. And, yeah, I mean, he had a really solid performance that day.
The lone goal coming on a penalty kick by sophomore captain Sam O'Callaghan, who's going to be on the show a little later. And then this weekend versus Covenant, a lot of people were looking forward to this matchup, a rematch of an absolute classic for that West Division championship last year. A 0-0 tie versus Covenant, 110 minutes, but neither team able to find the back of the net. Coach Dana, not the result you wanted, but what a hard-fought match this was.
Yeah, I mean, for people that really are new to soccer, when you look at the score line and you see a 0-0, you have a tendency to think that was not a good game. And of course, there's 0-0s and 0-0s, and this was a good game. Two gifted teams, two teams that like to play soccer the right way. That's the way I look at it. But it was back and forth. We created quite a bit, hit the post, missed some wide open shots, and I believe 17 shots. Covenant had their chances as well. I mean, it's two top teams going at it. And I think it's always going to be like that when we play each other. And I wish we would have won, but we could have also lost that game, and that would have put us in a tough spot in the conference.
And Coach Mascaro Jr., we talked about goalkeeping and defense. Guys like Rocco Barbone, Igor Da Silva, Sam O'Callaghan, Inigo Satrustegi, and, of course, the goalkeeper Thiago Leopardi. 110 minutes of shutout soccer. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, so far so good. I mean, you can't ask for anything else. He's making the saves he's needing to make. He's keeping us in the games, especially a tough game like Covenant. Where if they scored or we scored, it completely changes the game. So really pleased with his performance. I mean, really pleased with his focus. Again, like I said, and it's just about keeping him focused and keeping him sharp for the next one.
Well, and some breaking news, just this afternoon, Thiago was named USA South Conference Men's Soccer Defender of the Week for those performances against Pfeiffer and Covenant. Coach Dana, I know you're always pleased to see that kind of recognition from the conference.
Yeah, it's a tough spot for any coach to be when you have so much talent as we do, and people will be surprised to see that the defending defensive conference player of the week will not get a start tomorrow. So we're rotating keepers as we always do, because we have two great keepers, and honestly, that's true for every position on the field, and that's a good problem, but it is a problem. And you try to juggle and keep everybody happy, but at the same time, it's earning, and these guys have earned the right to take turns back and forth. And the one that wins the most is Brevard College.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And it's all added up to really a great start to the season. 5-1-3 overall. That's a 722 winning percentage, an 8-match unbeaten streak, and really heading into the critical portion of the schedule as teams start to really jockey for postseason positioning in those USA South Conference playoffs at Piedmont on Tuesday and then at Berea this coming Saturday. Coach Dana, really crunch time when it comes to that conference schedule.
Yeah, and if you keep an eye on the results, it's being very competitive, and there's teams that were ranked to be on the top that already took a loss, and they'll be gunning at us, for instance, Piedmont. So yeah, this conference has no day off, and tomorrow will be a tough one without a doubt, and as it will be Saturday. Trust me that there's no easy day in the USA South.
Yeah, and Coach Mascaro Jr., maintaining the focus and continuing to work hard, especially with these road games coming up, it's critical, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're at a stage where the games mean a little bit more. The results are going to weigh heavier than they did earlier in the season, being conference games, and it dictates where we finish in the standings for the conference tournament. So things here we kind of have to take it up a notch, kind of go to the next level, and then start getting the results. We haven't lost, but we haven't won as well. So picking up the W so that we can sit in a comfortable position come postseason.
Next home match for NATO Nation, if you want to mark this on your calendars, October 13th, 7:30 p.m. versus Warren Wilson. And Coach, even though that's not a USA South Conference matchup, it's critical to keep the momentum going through matchups like that, similar to what you guys did against Pfeiffer this past week.
Yeah, and there is such a thing as large bids. You do have regional games, and you do have an opportunity, hard as it is, to qualify without winning the conference. So you should never take the eye off the ball, so to speak.
Coach Mascaro Jr., also the coach of the reserves program. Next up for the reserves program, Thursday, October 14th, so the very following night versus Milligan. Coach, you got an update for us on reserves men's soccer?
Yeah, I mean, they've had a little break. They're going to have about a 2-week break. So we've done an inter-squad scrimmage to keep them sharp. 2-2 so far. And a lot of potential in the squad, and just really looking forward to playing an actual game again instead of just playing ourselves. So that game against Milligan will be a good test. We won the game over there, so now they're going to come to us. It's never guaranteed. It'll be a competitive match, and I'm excited to see the guys back in action in 2 weeks to see if they can implement the ideas and kind of the principles that we've worked on for the past week and a half.
Well, it's been a lot of fun to watch both the reserves program and the varsity program so far this season. Really an outstanding start, but plenty more to come and a lot more work to do, I know, for the squad. But we're going to bring in 2 of those student athletes now. If you guys can hang with us, coaches, as we're going to effort our 2 student athlete guests, Sam O'Callahan and Wendel Lima, both in the house. Coach L. Dana, can you help us introduce these 2?
Sure. 2 defensive, but yet kind of participating on offense as well kind of players. Sam, as a right back, he's a supporting winger most of the time, so he has to play both sides of the field. Hails from Ireland. Wendel, the same. He's a defensive mid, but what we call link-up player that has to also create, and oftentimes at the end of shots and crosses. Hails from Brazil, but definitely 2 leaders in a team and guys that all the other players look up to.
Coach Mascaro Jr., anything to add on these 2 student athletes?
I think Coach Hell said it all. I mean, they're not only great athletes, but great people. Good to work around and kind of, have in your corner. So always a pleasure working with them, and I'm always glad that they're on our team instead of on the opposition. Come these important conference games.
Well said. Well, Coach Eldana, Coach Juan Mascaro Jr., congrats on the season thus far. We can't wait to see the next twist and turn of the Brevard College men's soccer season tomorrow at Piedmont. Best of luck up there. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, and there they go. And joined now by Sam O'Callaghan in the upper right corner, the sophomore defender from Wicklow, Ireland, St. David's Secondary School. Sam, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having me, Phil.
And also here, Wendel Lima, the sophomore midfielder from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Wendel, thanks for joining the program.
Thank you, Phil, for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Great to have you 2 on the show. And Sam, we'll start with you. You hit that game winner at Pfeiffer PK. But what gets my attention is a shutout at Pfeiffer, 110 minutes of shutout defense versus Covenant. You guys are really protecting that goal and, shutting out these opposing offenses. What's been the key to the defensive success these last few weeks?
I think it's a lot of it starts with everyone. It's a full team effort. So we focus now more on being compact, starting from the front. So credit to the top three that play. They get in tight, they stay compact, they do their work up top, and then it filters through the whole team and it makes it easier for the defense. But it's always something we strive to achieve. So to be able to do it for 90 minutes is one thing, but for 110 against Covenant, I think it's something for us all to be proud of.
Yeah, no doubt. And Sam touched on it, Wendel. Defense, it really doesn't matter what position you play. You've got to have defense always on your mind.
Yeah, like our team have good defenders, so the line of four in the back, we are really good. In the air, we have like tall guys in the back. In the middle, Sam, Inigo. So I really believe like it will be hard to score against us this year because we really strong defending and we always compact in the middle. So that's really good.
Wendel, let's stick with you for this next one. And I know how humble you soccer players are, but what I'd like you to do is tell us a little bit about Sam as a player. We see the goal against Pfeiffer, and we know he was selected all West Division first team, but you play with him, you practice with him every day. He's a teammate of yours. You probably know his game as well as anyone. Tell NATO Nation about Sam.
It's hard and easy to talk about Sam because I play soccer for many years, and it's hard to tell like my life some right back like Sam. He's always like 100% the games. He don't make a lot of mistakes. He always is in the right decision. So it's a pleasure playing for him because he's a really good player, and it's nothing to talk. He's amazing.
And Sam, I'll let you return the favor. Wendel Lima, we get to see him in action, at Isla Mel Family Field. But once again, you are right in the middle of it, and you get to see exactly what this player, both on and off the field's like. Yeah, he's a player that every team wants in their squad. He's always positive, shows up to practice games, positive. He talks, leads everyone on the ball. He's calm, does everything the way it should be, keeps the ball. He's just a great player, but also a great teammate to have within the squad. And Sam, hailing from Ireland, as Coach mentioned, and obviously a long ways away from Brevard, North Carolina, and Brevard College. Can you tell us about that journey from Ireland to Brevard and how you like it here in the mountains? Yeah, it was a long one, and one that happened very quickly, really, because with COVID, everything seemed to be put on hold, and then all of a sudden I got my visa and I was gone nearly less than a week later. So it was all very quick, as I said, but to end up in Brevard, it's somewhere that I always dreamed to be, playing at such a high level and such a nice town, such a nice college. I couldn't ask for much more. And Wendel, hailing from Sao Paulo, Brazil, tell us about your journey to Brevard.
Yeah, before I was in Atlanta. I was playing for a university there, and I came here to make a soccer camp. I was in love with the college. I really like here, and I was in my mind. I really want to move to this college, and all the people around is like amazing people. The town is really small, but it's really nice. Before here, I never like live in a town like that, and I'm in love with everything here. The college, the people, all the programs here. That's amazing. That's a dream for me. So I'm really happy here.
And Sam, an incredibly international roster, for NCAA Division III college soccer. Wales, Brazil, Ireland, where you're from, Uruguay, Italy, Spain, Zambia, Ecuador. Not only multiple countries, multiple continents. What's it like to be playing on such an international roster and blending all those styles and also, personalities and cultures? I think it definitely helps to get everybody settled, to get together, because we're all kind of similar backgrounds, all coming together for one goal, really. But
to be able to have those different playing styles, different aspects and looks on the game to all come together and be able to piece in is something that we're very lucky to have, and hopefully we can get a couple more from different countries, different continents, wherever.
Yeah, Wendell, a lot of fun to have that sort of roster, correct?
Yeah, that's really nice to have people around from other countries, because we can know more about the culture. Also, you can learn a little about the language, few words, or it's really nice to have guys from Italy, how to say, and Uruguay. We can like learn more things, and that's really nice. It's amazing experience for us.
No doubt about it. Would like to learn about each of your academics as well. Sam, tell us what you're studying.
I'm an exercise science major with a minor in maths.
And have you looked further ahead, as far as career, what you may want to do with that degree eventually?
Yeah, the dream was always to do physical therapy or athletic therapy. So hopefully go to grad school and go down that line.
Very good. Well, an outstanding program here at Brevard College for exactly that. And Wendel Lima, tell us about your studies.
Yeah, I'm doing exercise science as well. And my plan is be a coach or a personal training. I want to focus in like in strength and condition more in this part. So I'm really excited for more 2 years.
Very good. Well, let's bring it back to the soccer field. We're heading towards the critical part of the season in terms of conference play. Sam, I know that the team is continuing to improve throughout the season, but really getting to a critical juncture here as we head towards the playoffs. What's going to be the key from this point forward, you all maintaining this success?
I think we just need to stay positive. I think we've been quite unlucky this year with a few games. We can't seem to score, keep hitting posts, coming up against good keepers. So I think we just need to stay positive. Everything's going to click eventually, and hopefully in these big games we can put it all together and come out with the right results.
Wendell, team on the right track heading towards this final stretch, correct?
Yeah. I think our team is really good. We're doing like amazing matches against the other teams, and how Coach will say, we don't have like easy games. I say that for the guys, like every practice a game, and every game is gonna be a war because everyone want to win. So I think our team is together. We just need to stay positive and start to put balls in the net, and it's gonna be well.
Very good. Well, before we let you two go, do want to give you the opportunity for any shout outs or thank yous, anyone who may have helped you along the way, who you just want to say hello to, perhaps. Sam, the floor is yours.
Yeah, just a big shout out to all my family at home, friends, teammates who I played with, the clubs that I played for. Just a big thanks for helping me get to where I am now.
Very good. Wendell?
Yeah, first I'd like to say thank for God for be here. That's amazing opportunity, and say thank for my family for all support until here, and thank you for the coach for ever people then believe in us, and thank you Phil for the opportunity one more time.
Oh, it's absolutely our pleasure. We love talking soccer with you gentlemen, and can't wait to see you back in action. You'll be on the road starting tomorrow at Piedmont, then at Berea this weekend. Next home match for the Tornadoes versus Warren Wilson. That's on October the 13th at 7:30 p.m. under the lights. Sam O'Callaghan, Wendell Lima, thanks again for joining the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. And with that, we will wrap up another edition of Tornado Talk. Thanks for joining the program. It's been a fun one. We've talked a lot of women's soccer, men's soccer, and football. Special thanks to our guests, Coach Juan Mascaro from women's soccer, along with student athletes Channing Barker and Maddy Edwards, Coach Bayless and Coach Wellenhofer from football. Football student athletes Nick Acus, Kyler Smith, and Hugo Taylor. Men's soccer coaches El Dana and Juan Mascaro Jr., and also men's soccer student athletes Wendell Lima and Sam O'Callaghan. Thank all of our sponsors of Brevard College, Tornado Athletics, Arby's, Brevard Orthopedics, BSN Sports, eGolf, Ford of Brevard, Hampton Inn, Ingles, Jets Pizza, Pepsi, Triangle Stop, and Young Transportation. Well, lots of action coming up this week. We've got volleyball on Wednesday versus Agnes Scott. We've got women's soccer on Thursday under the lights versus Warren Wilson. And then the big homecoming football game on Saturday at 2 p.m. Also, a special programming note, be sure to tune in at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning, where we will be inducting the latest members of the Brevard College Tornado Athletics Hall of Fame. Hope you can join us for that one. And be sure to follow the Tornadoes on social media at BC Tornadoes on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook, Brevard College Tornado Athletics, and check us out on YouTube. That's where we'll bring you all the broadcasts of the home games as well. And just hit that little bell and that reminder, and you'll be notified when Brevard College Tornado Athletics goes live. Want to give a special thanks to producer Joseph Marvin, and thank you, the viewer, for tuning in for another edition of Tornado Talk. Thanks for joining the show.